Coming up on Open for Business, we talk about financial literacy. Joining me today are representatives from local financial institutions who are passionate about financial education. I believe financial education is something that is valuable for students to be connected to. So we took the time to connect with financial institutions to make sure that students and families are aware of the resources that are available to them locally. So today we have a number of financial institutions represented to help us with this task. And today we're going to start with introduction. So first, thank you for being here.
Yes, my name is Wayne Dixon. I'm the Business Development Manager with Transportation Federal Credit Union. And my role is really just working with our members to help ensure that they are receiving all the products and recommendations to ensure that they're financially stable.
And the thing that's so great is because I've had the opportunity to have conversations and work with you in some community things. I think the first thing we start with is, so how do you all address financial education in sort of a community sense?
All right. Well, think that's a really good question. So really what we do is we position ourselves in the community. So like, for instance, alongside being the business development manager, I'm also a certified financial counselor. So I actually sit one-on-one with the members in our community and just really go over different their whole financial picture, like sit down with budgeting plans, make sure that they're in line to reduce debt. And say if there's a situation with helping them to increase their credit score or things of that nature. So we really get into the weeds with them besides just providing them with, checking account, a savings account, things of that nature. So we really take the hands of our members and really walk them down that financial path.
And just talking about taking hands, we think about how we nurture people. And so because this is a school system, we want to nurture the students that we have. And so taking the hands of students, we understand that there are a lot of things that they need to be exposed to, but in a specific way. So what kind of work have you done working with students and in schools to help them understand and improve their financial literacy?
Well, actually, what we do is we visit the local schools, and depending on, we really like starting in middle schools all the way up to high school. And really with the middle schools, just really introducing them to what is a checking account, what is a savings account, so they can understand, that type of financial lingo, how it can actually help them, on their journey to become financially stable. So you'd be surprised a lot of times students not even aware of some of those terms. So when you say savings account, it's like, oh, I'm not too, what is that? What does that even mean? So, just walking them down that path. So we work with a lot of, like yesterday, we just visited a local school and we did a career day with them. And we actually brought in some of our programs. Like we have a great youth program called Jet Setters accounts where kids as early as 13 can really start initiating, open up a savings account, and we can walk them through that process of how to utilize it. And also we reward them for making deposits into their account. The first 3 deposits, they receive an additional benefit or reward, if you will, for that. So really encouraging them to really take money and financial literacy seriously.
A thing that is interesting about financial literacy, because you mentioned credit scores and stuff like that, and while younger people don't necessarily understand it, when we think about the education of young people, we do work in the schools at different levels, but then we have to understand that there's a family component that we have to address.
Yes.
And so what do you all do working with families? Because obviously the families have children most times. and so looking at them to help them understand the credit scores and the checking accounts, like how do you work with them to encourage them to maybe take a part with the Jet Setter account or do things for financial management so they can model what needs to be seen?
Yeah, so I'm a firm believer, and we also, with the organization I'm with, so I think families need to have that conversation with their kids. Like, for instance, I always encourage families, like, hey, when you're sitting down getting ready to pay a bill, a mortgage, utility bill, sit down, have the kids sit down with you, so they can actually see, this is the money we have coming in, this is the money going out. So, we feel like the families really have to do their part and participate in that and increase that knowledge with their kids. We can't just peddling them off to school and say, okay, the school is going to take care of everything. I know, you guys do a great job in introducing that to the kids, but I think the parents really need to encourage the kids too to participate in the household. finances. So I think by them seeing it real world, that also help them and increase their financial curiosity and their financial literacy.
Especially because, in modern times, there are things like Cash App and different
Yes,
virtual
yes.
things that handle currency, but it's
Hmm.
important to establish a relationship with a local entity. So
Yes.
you are a credit union.
Hmm.
So real briefly before we wrap up and move to another segment,
Hmm.
is like what makes a credit union different from a traditional bank because of like the things like cash apps and applications like that. What do you all do specifically different?
Well, speaking from my experience, I actually spend a bulk of my time working in a traditional bank. So, seeing the difference, credit unions, we actually take the time to really work with our members. For instance, hence we call them members instead of customers or clients. So we partner with them. So it's not just about just presenting a product to them like here's a checking out, here's a money market. We actually sit down with them, show them how to use it, show them the benefits of it, show them the features of it, and even after we set up that account with them, we're reaching out to them on a constant basis. We're visiting the schools. We're visiting the parents' offices to encourage to make sure that they are grasping 100% benefit from that particular product. So I would say out of the two, that's really the main difference. I remember, working in a financial institution, our main thing was just really selling a product and sort of moving on to the next one. So I would say that's really the biggest difference in my opinion.
Well, then I think it's important that people get the opportunity to connect to you. So how would people connect to you and get more information about what you all do at your institution?
Yeah, sure. Well, definitely, I would say start. They can visit our website. So it's www.transfcu.org. They can also reach me through my emails. So it's wdixon@transfcu.org.
And so, as sort of a wrap up and final, is there
Mhm.
anything that you would say is like maybe one specific nugget that students and or families should take into account when they deal with financial literacy?
I would say definitely just start having a conversation. I believe some parents or some adults may feel like kids may not be equipped to understand the complexity of financial concepts, but you'd be surprised. Kids are they're really motivated to learn. So if you present the conversation to them and have them engage with them and ask questions, then you're really going to see a difference, and you're going to see them excited about being financially literate.
Well, thank you so much, and I appreciate that. And we're going to take a short break, and we're going to introduce another financial institution into the segment. Well, welcome back, and we are entering the new segment with a secondary financial institution. We are excited to have more than one financial institution to take part in financial literacy education for our students in our community. So, thank you for being here. I'll give you the opportunity to introduce yourself.
Thank you very much, Lewis. My name is Faye Curry. I'm with Arundel Federal Savings Bank. The bank's been around 119 years, serving the community with an Anne Arundel County headquarters, and we're very much connected with students and financial literacy.
Well, I think that that's such a good thing because the thing is, a lot of people don't necessarily understand what banks do, right? So, can you tell us a little bit about what you specifically do in the bank?
Certainly. I've been in banking 30 plus years. This opportunity I have now as a vice president of banking relationship manager. I go out in the community, I do the financial literacy, I am the face of Arundel Federal and Anne Arundel County in different spots. It's our passion to make sure we help students become successful. So that's kind of been my life's mission throughout the last 30 years, even in prior banks. But right now, this position gives me the opportunity to develop relationships. And that's primarily what banking is, developing relationships. And starting out when they're younger is the best solution for fiscally responsible adults.
So, you do a lot of work in the community. So, what specific things have you specifically done inside of the schools?
Well, since 2012, I've been a part of Anne Arundel County's signature program and an integrated community stakeholder team member as a business. So I have the opportunity to meet with students monthly. Right now at Annapolis High School, that curriculum, as you shared, covers financial wellness, and I've been a part of financial literacy with them in sessions with our Leadership Academy that is under the Signature Program. So we bring forth financial opportunities and ways to be fiscally responsible, right to when you get your first paycheck. What do? You begin saving, and then in turn, you budget. I've introduced those opportunities to our students in Anne Arundel County. In addition, I've worked with Anne Arundel County Police Department. They have a charm school where they introduce all kinds of skill sets to students, and financial literacy was one of them. I've recently done that, and I did the same thing, teaching them with a little game how to prepare for rent, how to prepare for expenses as an adult. And you can start with, are you going to rent a home, buy a home, or live with somebody? So that's a budgeting question. So it's real life skills kind of opportunities. And the kids tend to engage with that. So you prepare them for the future, and that is the core of financial literacy. Like I said, if you get them younger, they become fiscally responsible adults, and that's what we all want for them.
Absolutely. And I think one of the things is you mentioned the responsibilities of adulting. And so talking about adulting, that the students learn things, but they're yet to be in the position to run things. So what's the work that you do with families to help kind of connect and champion the students being able to do it with their families, and it becomes a familial thing?
Right. Well, we engage them. The parents are crucial, or adult you trust. Go banking with them. Go see a bank. They love to give lollipops to students, and start with that adult and see how they manage their banking relationships, and adopt those practices very, very young. Just expose them. Teach young people and parents to get your kids to save that money, the allowance, the birthday money or the holiday money. Get them to save that money, and so they'll see that if you take it to a bank, that in turn that money can grow. So they partner together. It's crucial with any app that's available for young people. They have some apps from age 5 to 6 up to 18. And banks have student accounts. Arundel Federal has a student account that gets kids prepared before they go off to college or in the working world to manage their money at 16, 17. And then, but an adult has to be on that account with them. And then give them a debit card and teach them how to manage their spending habits so they can learn what's needed and what's not needed, and how they can be successful if they save for what they actually want and not impulse buy. So,
and I think it's important to understand, you mentioned apps and things like that, just recognizing how technology moves in at such a rapid pace, specifically with finance. What's something that you think that your bank does specifically well in the community that would really help people champion using your institution?
I think the best thing would be to look at the longevity the bank has been around, our bank, and build that relationship with a person at the bank. And with that person you trust. You entrust people with your financial needs. We know more about some people than they're actually family members. So build a trust, bring that young person to the bank, and we'll take the time, sit down with them, have conversations, or we'll go out to opportunities and share our knowledge of a bank like ours and how you can begin to develop a relationship. We have one-on-one conversations. We look forward to building that. There are many banks that have resources. When we were discussing apps, just make sure it's an FDIC insured. The banks are FDIC insured. So you don't want to entrust your personal information with a source that's not safe. So, and young people need to partner with adults and individuals to make sure they make the right selection so they're not exposing themselves to some type of risk.
Well, in closing, for this specific segment, what's the best way for the community and the students to connect with you and the bank? And is there a final note that you have for students dealing with and families dealing with financial literacy?
Arundel Federal Savings Bank is in Anne Arundel County, and we have a location in Brooklyn. Come to any location. I'm located at the Annapolis office here on 2661 Riva Road. Any one of us would love a conversation. Come have a conversation with an adult, and then have that adult bring you to a bank, and I guarantee you we'll build a relationship to make you feel safe so you can be financially secure in your choices as an adult. So I do an infomercial for other banks as well, but our bank is really a stellar in the community, giving me and others opportunities to be at events, to show up at a school and share our knowledge.
Well, thank you so much, and thank you for the time that we've taken to continue to express our desire to know more in financial literacy. We're going to take a break, and we're going to enter one more segment. And thank you for watching Open for Business. Welcome back to Open for Business. We are entering the final segment of our financial literacy program, and we're excited to have another representative here to share more about financial literacy and how it's different in different places. So thank you for being here, sir. I'm going to give you the opportunity to introduce yourself and your institution.
Okay, thanks for having us in. I'm Tony Carroll. I'm with Educational Systems Federal Credit Union. I'm a business development officer and certified financial counselor with the credit union.
And it's perfect that you're here because the focus that we're focusing on is financial literacy. And obviously there's a variety of spectrums that it falls under. So what specifically does your institution do for financial literacy in the community?
Well, since we're so closely associated with the school system here in Anne Arundel County, we do a lot of programs within the schools. We help with the financial literacy classes and financial seminars in the school system for both middle school and high schools. We do a lot of sponsorship and partnerships with the school system, with the PTAs and the teachers, spreading news about the financial products we have to offer that serve the community, and also the financial literacy training that we can offer as well.
And I think that's so great because you do cover the full spectrum within the school system, and I think that's great. And so talking about the curriculum, specifically about students, what are some of the specific things that you are most proud of, or you think have the greatest impact with the students in our system?
Well, speaking with the students, I was sort of amazed doing some of the 8th graders at one of the schools. Over half the 8th graders have a Cash App already on their phone. A lot of them have a business they're running either on the internet or a small business, cutting lawns, doing things like that. And the knowledge that they had about the financial system was sort of amazing. But one of the biggest things was teaching them about how credit affects them. Not only students, but a lot of adults don't realize it, that credit score affects you in every walk of life. What interest rate you're getting on your loan. When you apply for a job, the employer pull a credit score to check your background, see if you're kind of person they can trust handling money with the company. All the federal government jobs pull credit scores. So, and people don't understand how credit scores work and how credit works, how to build up credit, how to have good credit, how sometimes using credit can work against you.
And talking about credit, I think looking at the family spectrum from the top down, understanding like what kind of work do you all do to help parents kind of teach or help their children understand how credit works and what things they can do to help them either establish credit or improve it?
Well, what we do, we try to explain to both the students and then the parents more intensely of what constitutes a credit score and how to use credit effectively. We tell them credit is for needs, not wants. So to institute two different things, credit versus savings. So if it's something you want, whether it's a vacation money or for a student buying a new cell phone or buying a new bike or saving up for that first car, saving is important to get in the habit of saving, finding a goal, setting a plan of so many months or so many years to build for that goal so you don't have to go into debt for it. Versus with credit, if you use that right away and you're paying 18 to 24% interest on that credit card and showing people how long it takes you to pay that back and what the effect of that interest is over time.
And so, thinking about that, I know you're in school, so I know we've had the chance to talk some. So, you had a chance to visit in some schools. So, what's maybe a memorable example of you interacting in the schools and working with students in the schools?
Well, one of the eighth grade classes, especially, was sort of amazing. I went over the rule of 72, how compound interest works, and said, if you're putting your money away and you're getting a savings account and you're getting 2% rate of return, it's going to take 36 years for your money to double. And they were like, whoa, it takes forever. I said, now, if you take a credit card and you run that thing up and you're paying 24% interest, can you see every 3 years their money's going to double? And the one student looked at me and goes, so that's how they make all that money off of us. And it was like, yeah, you got it. You want to learn how credit works, how to make it work for you and your family, instead of letting the larger institutions and credit cards take advantage of that and using credit for the wrong needs. So.
And I think it's really important that you were able to be in the school, to give them tangible examples to make those things work. So in that spectrum, what are some things that your institution specifically offers that kind of helps students and maybe families as well to take them on that path where they can be financially well off?
Well, one of the goals of the educational system's federal credit union is to provide products and services that fit the needs of the educational community, the teachers, students, and the parents. So some of the things we offer for the teachers is we offer a summer skip pay on their car loans. So if they're a 10-month pay, they don't have to make their payments in July and August. For members of Anne Arundel County Public Schools, they get their paycheck 2 days early through HR here and our affiliation with them. With the students, some of the things we offer student accounts beginning at age 16. So it's really good as the older students enter junior, senior year high school, they can have their own account. And then they can track their spending with that account, and versus putting it in mom and dad's account and just asking for money. This way, it's their money. When it's gone, they can go to mom and dad. Hey, I don't have any money left. Well, that's your account. So it's a real good teaching school and practical life experience for them to have their own account at age 16.
I think it is. So this has been a wonderful day and very educational for me and the audience in general. So I would say, what's a final note that you would want to leave with students about financial literacy, how to best connect with financial institutions, and how can they get in contact with either you or the credit union itself?
Well, one of the best things, like we said, is using their own account and being able to track their spending is one of the things that's great. A lot of them are using apps online now with the banking apps, which is even better, so they can use that. Not that they're spending money, not realizing where it goes to. But we offer like a lot of the accounts, checking accounts, savings accounts, retirement accounts, car loans, personal loans, mortgages, home equity. So we offer all the services out there. They can get in touch with me through my email is probably the best way. It's tcarroll@esfcu.org, or our website is esfcu.org, and they can access the website. Not only all the products and services there, they can get in touch with us at business development. They'd like us to come out to their school or their place of work and do a financial seminar. And also we have some financial planning and financial tips on the website as well.
Excellent, excellent. Well, thank you so much for being here and for your contribution to the community. And thank you to all of the individuals from the financial institutions that took part of this program, because it's important to understand that here in Anne Arundel County Public Schools, we do offer curriculum that supports students in that way, but we also want to make sure that we let people in the community know that we have partners that help us do what we do. So thank you again for watching, and thank you for being guests and an audience on Open for Business.